The second person I'm spotlighting for Black History Month is Gordon Parks. He's renowned as being one of the best photographers of the 20th century, but he's not a household name. I think he deserves to be. He was a talented artist who used his art to shine a light on all of the social inequities that he saw around him. He was a master of still photography, composition. He was an author and a filmmaker. Gordon Parks was born in 1912 in Kansas, in a very small rural area, the youngest of 15 children. His town was so small that even in the era of segregation, they didn't have segregated schools. So for most of his upbringing, he did go to an integrated school. However, he and other African American children were discouraged from thinking about higher education. His mother passed away when he was a teenager, and he was sent to live with a relative in the big city of St. Paul, Minnesota. However, he did not really get along with this relative, and he was homeless by the time he was 15. And he had to support himself by working odd jobs in whatever sort of field he could find. He lived several different lifetimes before, in his late 20s, he found a camera. Without any special education, without any special tools, he taught himself photography. And before he turned 30, he was quickly becoming a national sensation because of the uniqueness of his perspective. He used his camera as his weapon to fight racism, to fight poverty, to try to fight for civil rights, and to show what life was like for people living in urban environments. His artwork caught national and international attention, and he very quickly became very popular. He was the very first African American staff photographer for Life magazine, and he was one of the only Black photographers for Vogue magazine at the time. He was the very first director of a feature film by an African American director, and kind of pioneered the concept of blaxploitation in film. Despite all of he did, and despite the changes that his artistic style took, he always kept civil rights at the forefront of his beliefs and his art. Parks said, "I saw that the camera could be a weapon against poverty, against racism, against all sorts of social wrongs, and I knew at that point I had to have a camera." With his camera, he opened the door for so many marginalized people.